All right, welcome to the Bob Ryan podcast. Jeff Goodman once again is doing the college scene. He is busy. Okay, the trade deadline was a big game yesterday, Bob. Uh, a blockbuster with James Harden and Ben Simmons. Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, a couple of picks. They go to Brooklyn. Harden and Paul Millsap go to Philadelphia. I know how you feel about Simmons. How do you feel about this deal?
Number one, the big winner in the I told you so category was Daryl Morey. He listened to people like me, and there were plenty of us who said, Daryl, give it up. Just go 50 cents on the dollar, go 33 cents on the dollar, do something, get rid of the guy. You're wasting it's a waste of time. Nobody's going to give you what you want. So, guess what? He got a high profile player back in return, just as he said he insisted that he would. So congratulations, Daryl. You got what you wanted. Okay, now, I hate to sound like Mr. Wishy-Washy, but it's you can make a case for both teams enjoying what they're going to get. All right, let's start with the Harden to Philadelphia. What are people talking about? All the experts in the cognoscenti in the last 18 hours. Oh my God, it's going to be a pick and roll to rival the greatest of all time. They're gonna put Stockton and Malone in the rearview mirror. They're gonna revolutionize the pick and roll with those two. Well, we'll see. I see why they think it could happen if Harden is playing well. We know Embiid is playing at the peak of his game, and he's been arguably the most efficient player in the league at doing what he does over the last month. Nobody's played better than Joel Embiid. So he's tremendous. Okay, let's see what Harden does with this. There's no doubt of his technical skill, but there's something missing there, Gar. First of all, let's go back up. He's never won it, and he's bouncing around now, searching, ring searching, and all that. He's never won it, and there's something, just something that wrong. We'll find out. Maybe Doc can solve the puzzle.
Well, I was going to say, I think he has the right coach. Yeah. I think that when James Harden, the reason I think it'll work with Philadelphia is when he arrived with Brooklyn, he bought in. I mean, we found out. Okay, I need to back up. The rap on Harden, as you have pointed out, was he didn't pass the ball, but he did lead the league in assists when you were. So there was that misnomer. But when he got to Brooklyn, he was dishing the ball a little bit. But Brooklyn never got going. I mean, the Kyrie thing is such a distraction. Durant gets hurt, So I think Harden. I like it for the Sixers. I think because of this, they're a contender, and I think he's going to buy in.
See, I thought they were in good shape anyway, though.
Oh, okay. Right. They didn't need him.
I thought that they had something going well, that there was clicking. They had chemistry. They had it. They're playing well. And Seth Curry was a big part of that, of course.
So you don't like losing Seth Curry?
Well, but they still have. All right, so now the primary shooter is suddenly it's Tobias Harris, right? And Maxey. Okay, Maxey. I don't know whether I think of him as a shooter or a scorer. I still think of him as a scorer as opposed to a drop dead shooter, which is what Seth Curry is. Anyway, we'll see. Maybe Maxey. I'm a big fan of his, by the way. Been a fan of his since he was in Kentucky.
Well, I think if you're Doc, or maybe Daryl, I should say, you're thinking we got to go for it all. So the team is constituted, and they have been playing well. And are they good enough to beat the Suns? Are they good enough to beat Golden State in the finals? And maybe that's the thinking, is they're good enough maybe to get to the finals, but they're not good enough to win it unless they make the steal.
Well, I still think Milwaukee, if I have to pick tonight, I would think Milwaukee has moved to the head of the class at the moment. We'll get to them in the Ibaka trade.
We'll get to Ibaka in a minute.
We'll get to that. Philly. No, but I thought Philly had it going anyway. Okay, so now they're going to have to go at it in a different way as opposed to what they were doing, and maybe they will. And it's got so that if I'm a Philly fan, I'm a bit apprehensive because I don't know if I trust Harden. You mentioned this, the passing. I think a year ago at this time we were all marveling at, my God, he's reinvented himself. He's given the ball up more. He's look at those assist totals. I still think what he's done is he's bribed every scorekeeper in the league to pad his assist total. I can't believe these assist totals, but they're supposedly there. So I'll have to take it as word. All right. Yeah, I think it's a mirage. All right, I'm being facetious. You notice we were tongue Hung over
Yeah.
there. Okay.
Oh,
All
yeah,
right, fine.
but we love theories, Bob. Hey, Bob, it's the internet. We could say whatever we want.
All right.
Now, on the Brooklyn end of things,
Yeah, let's get to Brooklyn.
now, if Durant is healthy, Simmons gets new life, can play some defense, likes to pass the ball. You still have the Kyrie distraction,
Oh,
you
of
know,
course you
home,
do.
away, you know, and not playing at home, can only play away. What goes on there?
Number one, there's a glimmer of hope that by the time the playoffs come around, maybe New York City will allow him to play. That there's a glimmer of hope on that score. I'm sure the Nets are banking, lighting candles, chanting, whatever it is that they want to do, whatever deity they want to aid, they seek. They're doing it to get the net. Okay, but even if they do, this is going to be interesting because of Kyrie, his whole package. He's ball dominant, right?
Oh,
He's
yeah.
going to have to. Now there is no point to Ben Simmons being anywhere near a gymnasium if he's not handling the ball to pass it to other people, and then or finishing a fast break at 6'9". But he's got to have the ball. And is Kyrie going to be okay being an off the ball guard? Is he going to reinvent himself as Ray Allen? All right?
Right.
Is he going to be happy doing that when his? I don't know. And with him, you don't ever know what's going on in that head, right? Whoever knows. So it's a complete mystery. So they're a puzzlement, and we'll see. I'm curious to see. But in theory, number one, we know that Simmons improves their defense, which has been atrocious.
Right.
They're going to get an on the ball defender that's going to make start their defensive psyche, improve their defensive prowess. Okay, they'll get that. At
Now,
least.
what has the play of the Nets and the Lakers done for the theory of building the super team?
Well, the Lakers were always a huge question because of the sheer scope of the sheer depth of age that they put a roster of, I think it was like 10, at least 10 guys over 30 and maybe a half a dozen, 34, 4 or 5. I mean, they got two big guys sitting on the bench. Dwight Howard and Jordan are both on that team, not playing very much. Anyway, the Lakers were always, and they had safety in numbers. So if a couple of the old guys got hurt, they still had other old guys, but it isn't working out. And which brings us to the Westbrook conundrum, So it's not working out. LeBron has just come off a streak where he's a career best streak of point games, 25, and they lose like 9 out of the 12 anyway, because everything else that's not there. But they got the Westbrook conundrum, and I don't think anyone thought that this would turn into, I won't say disaster, but a huge disappointment to the degree that it has already, to where anyone would have envisioned a scenario if I told you an opening night that come February that he wouldn't be finishing a game and Frank Vogel would feel that he couldn't have him on the floor to end the game. Russell Westbrook, that's where it's come. So I mean, they're yesterday's news. They're not a contender. They're done for this year.
So if you're a general manager or if you're a star player,
Didn't answer your question, right?
yeah, but I mean, no, because the theory, well, obviously, I mean, the answer is you have to use your brain and you have to look at the content of the situation. But you know what it is? It's a copycat league. They said, oh, okay, well, Miami did it. They won 2 out of 4. Hell, I thought they should have won 4 out of 4. The Celtics, as you pointed out in our pre-show meeting, did it in 08. And if Garnett doesn't get hurt, doesn't get hurt, they win 2 or 3.
With a little luck, they win 2 for sure. 09
Sure.
with Garnett, and 10 if Perkins doesn't get hurt, they win in 10 as well.
Right,
Yeah.
they do. So, so then everybody thinks, okay, well, players like Durant go, well, I want to go to the super team. And we've talked ad nauseum how Durant screwed up. I mean, he messed up on this. So, do you look and say, okay, well, maybe the way to do it is to draft well and have a good nucleus like Memphis or, or Philadelphia or, because you've just mentioned the complementary players. I think what I've learned through all of this, Bob, is you still have to have a solid base of complementary players.
Well, the Nets, it's in their defense. One of those guys is Joe Harris, and he's been out. He's a 3-point shot shooter. He's a floor stretcher, at a very high level. They haven't had him. In theory they had something there, but they haven't had it. And they missed. By the way, they're up to 10 straight losses as we speak, which is
Right.
wow. But no, but in terms of dissuading general managers from doing it, I don't know yet. I don't know, but but the Laker thing is different because of the sheer age and what they were hoping to get out of that roster. It was always dicey to start with, and it is completely fallen apart.
Yeah.
And the other point is, you can never. How much can you ever count on Anthony Davis being in your lineup?
Right.
And when he is, you're automatically a good team on that given night, and when he isn't, you're not. Period.
Right.
You know?
Well, that's. I mean, if you take a look at the two teams, basically, it's consistency of the lineup, and it's. I mean, what Harden and Durant? What was the number Harden, Durant, and Kyrie had played in? What, less than 20 games together? Or
yeah,
something?
16 or something. I think it was
ridiculous.
16. So when the dust is settled in the West, Phoenix and Golden State are still clearly
Right.
the teams
That's it.
out.
Okay.
And Golden
all right.
State, that assumes that Klay Thompson will continue to get better incrementally. Whatever his ceiling is now, I don't know. It's not going to be the Klay Thompson that we saw before the missing 2 years. But if it's 80% Klay Thompson, that's an adjunct. And they're yeah, I like them. And if they ever get Weissman, but I don't know if they were going to get him. But anyway, Phoenix, people have to believe in Phoenix now. You got to.
I love them. I mean, I wish Phoenix was. I mean, obviously this isn't possible. I wish Phoenix was in the East, so those two would meet in the finals. You know, I mean, the Western Conference Finals is going to be the finals, I think. Well, let's get to Milwaukee then.
Let's get to Milwaukee.
Let's get to Milwaukee and Ibaka. Maybe I'm wrong. Now, Ibaka, love the guy. I mean, you know, is this what they need? 11-year vet.
They gave up. You know, they can live without Donte DiVincenzo. You know, they can. You know, that was a big move. I think they're in. I won't say substantially, but they are definitely a better team than they were 48 hours ago, and they've been playing well of late anyway. You know, so I think they're, to me, they established them as the East, clearly the Eastern favorite.
What about overall? Should the Bucks be the favorites? Can you pick them over Golden State?
That'd be a tough one. Well, Phoenix. I still think Phoenix. I mean, you know, is the team. Not, you know, Golden State is still on them. There's, as I just said, we just talked about that. They're not what we think they can be yet. They're not there yet because of the Thompson thing, and presumably he'll continue to get better. And Curry is, you know, we mentioned. You realize that Seth is shooting better than Steph this year. You know, he has a career low. Steph Curry is shooting a career low, with the exception of the truncated season of 2 years ago when he only played a handful of games, when he shot 25% from the floor and on threes. He's on the career low this year. He's a volume guy. He's got to get 15 of them up a night now, you know, but which he will. But anyway, Milwaukee, they've hit a groove. Antetokounmpo's and on a roll. Middleton, Holiday, you know, our boy Pat Connaughton, our local boy makes good. There. And now Ibaka, that fills a hole, and Bobby Portis, that fills. I like them now a lot with Ibaka, and he's been around the block, and I think he's going to welcome this opportunity. So I think that's a terrific pickup. If the playoffs started tonight, I pick Milwaukee in the East. Okay.
Well, there we go. Okay, now Sabonis. The Kings are a player now. Domantas Sabonis and a bunch of players to the Kings. They lose Tyrese Haliburton. And whenever I hear Haliburton's name, I think of Dick Cheney, but that's another story. So what do you think about that?
I see that as a robbing Peter to pay Paul trade, as my mother would say. You know how I love Sabonis.
Yeah.
I'd like to adopt him. Okay, fine. I mean, really, give me the papers. He's in the will. Okay. But Haliburton, I mean, it's just, I don't know. You know, you're giving up to get Haliburton's damn good. People love, most people, I think, are looking at this as what was Sacramento thinking, that they, as opposed to the other way around. Now, and Sabonis immediately debuts with a double-double game, by the way. I think he went for 25 and 14 in his debut with I love the guy. But what did they gain? I'm not sure they're any better. You know, because of him, despite much I love him, but Haliburton's good, so I don't get it. I'm not sure about that trade. I don't know what the purpose of that trade was.
All right, so Porzingis, who after leaving New York, You know, I mean, he goes to Dallas, so he goes to Washington, and Dinwiddie and Bertans go down to Dallas. Dallas saves about $70 million, by the way. So what do you think of that?
Oh yeah, that's it. Well, his whole saga since he left. First of all, the saga in leaving New York, the way it happened. You know, he was an instant sensation, and then it petered out for, you know, petered out. They sent him to Dallas. Oh boy, the young Latvian's going to pair up with Doncic. It's going to be a great pair. Never happened. He didn't, because he just hasn't ever produced. I don't know, you know, and people criticize him. He's 7'3", doesn't go near the basket. You know, you don't get any rebounds out of him. You know, you get a 7'3" jump shooter. And I know that's the way of the world today, but you'd like to get a little more than that out of him. And apparently Dallas is very happy, not happy to get rid. Well, yeah, he costs a lot of money. He's a disappointment. His career is a disappointment. The career arc is going this way. And can he resurrect himself? Is it going to take the proverbial change of scenery for a second time? I don't know. But I just know that no way you would have projected his career being so disappointing when he debuted in New York.
No, I know. I mean, he was a big deal.
By the way, Doncic had 28 points in the first quarter last night. I'll move to a 51-point game. That's, you know, so he is something.
Do you have any thoughts on the day overall, Bob, on the trade deadline?
Yeah, well, it was dominated by the Harden and Simmons thing,
Sure.
obviously, and all the speculation about it. And we've been talking about it all year. And there's going to be an endless debate about Harden and forcing his way out of two places and within months of each other, frankly, right? And you know, do you really want? What is it with this guy? You know, all right, you know, okay, you can say on the surface he's chasing a ring. All right, that we can understand. But I'm not, you know, he makes me uncomfortable, you know, of course, over and above the fact that I hate watching him play. And I don't know where these phantom assists come from. Okay, I guess I'll get off that horse. But as I said at the outset, Daryl Morey, mea culpa, you were right. I was wrong. I didn't think it would happen. And so now we'll see. He's got what he wanted, and they're intriguing. So good.
Bob Bryant, a pleasure. And for those of you watching on our Celtic podcast on CLNS, we will break down. Bob has a lot to say about what the Celtics did and didn't do, so you can click on and find out his thoughts on what the Celtics did on the trade deadline. That's also on CLNS. All right, Robert, maybe Goodman will be back next week. Who knows? But always a pleasure.
You're welcome.